Hey, Stubby Nails Club. Do you guys also struggle with patient retention rates? Like, let's say you get a new initial client and you see them once, maybe twice, and then they disappear. If you're having struggles with patient retention rate, keep watching this video because here are Cindy and I's top 3 things you should be communicating 3 times within the treatment session. Here we go. Number 1. This one is so simple, but so effective. It's the client's name. How often do we just call out their name in the office and that's the last time we're saying their name? Hopefully not too often for you guys, but sometimes that does happen from time to time to me. Sometimes you're caught up in having a client list of 10 of that day and you stop engaging with your clients because you forget your patient's name. Let's be honest. So making sure that you not only remember their name, but remember the correct pronunciation. And if you live in a place that's a bit of a melting pot like Toronto, there's a lot of new names that you may come across. So really getting the phonetic spelling of it down and keeping it in a place where you can refresh or remember what it is before the client comes in is so instrumental to garnering trust, helping with engagement in that session, and developing a therapeutic rapport. So we oftentimes really recommend just as simple as learning someone's name and utilizing it within the session. Number 2 is your patient's goals. Now, a perfect way to frame this is you want to mention your patient's goals or one of many goals, depending on what your session is about, at the start of the session, in the middle, and at the very end as a recap of the session. So maybe at the start, it could be questions related to their week on how they felt there were any improvements or decline within the realm of their specific goal. So for example, if their goal is related to constipation, ask them about how their stool movements went for that week. Did they notice the time, the duration of evacuation shortening? Did they feel fully evacuated more than the week prior? Maybe get a bladder diary going and see if there's any objective changes. And then in the middle of the session, when you're offering an abdominal massage or some of the techniques around the abdomen, or maybe it's a rectal exam, reiterate how this treatment helps with the patient's goal. And this will really, again, foster a better bond and trust with the client. And then by the end of the session, that's a perfect time to recap everything you've done, how it relates to the patient's goal, and where you are so that the client knows and is excited to come back to the next session. Number 3, I sort of alluded this in point number 2, but paint a picture of where they are in that roadmap in terms of when they're going to get to their goals. So if you've already given them a brief kind of general idea of how many sessions it might take to get to their goal, and let's use the example of constipation again. Maybe for that client, it's simply getting better lifestyle habits and modifying the length of their pelvic floor and hips. You can paint a picture of what that may look like in terms of treatment sessions and show them where they're at. So at the start of the session, mention like, hey, this is your 3rd session with me, and today we'll be focusing on managing the overactivity of your pelvic floor. Next session, we'll be working on this ABC. If you mention this 3 times of where they are in their path getting towards their goal, again, it paints a nice picture of where they are in time and where they're going. And if the client has that kind of figurative picture in their mind, they are much more likely to be compliant, to listen to the advice you have to say, and really change their lifestyle habits to get towards the quality of life that they want to get to and the picture that you've painted for them on what it'll look like at the end of the roadmap. So really painting that picture for them of the roadmap, but also what it may look like once they get towards their goal is really important for the client to keep coming back, as well as stay on top of their exercises.
Your client. Number 1, your client's name. Addressing a client by their name is more than just a matter of politeness, but it also plays a crucial role in building rapport, garner trust, and fostering a positive relationship. It also shows that you recognize and values them as an individual and makes them feel more respected and more likely to engage in the treatment plans that you make for them. Sometimes they might even mention their partner's name or even their children's name to you. So if you can also remember those, will really make them feel special and make them feel like you really value them as a person and increase their confidence and trust in you. Number 2, the why of your treatment. And what I mean by this is that you want to be explaining to your client why you ask a specific question during the evaluation, why you choose a specific treatment techniques, why you gave them this exercise, and why it is important to follow your treatment plan. By explaining all the reasoning behind what you do and tying it back to their goals, it will help them to better understand the barriers in reaching their goals and also increase their compliance and engagement into your treatment. Number 3, using their language. Everyone experiences pain and describes it differently. If a client comes in and tells you that they have an ache in their shoulder, for example, then you can also use that same word when you're talking about and asking them questions about this pain. Is that ache worse when you're moving your arm? Does the ache wake you up from sleep? And after you've done the treatment, you can also ask them, how is the ache feeling right now? When you use your client's language, it makes them feel that you've understood them, and also it helps to strengthen the therapeutic rapport between you guys.
We hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys subscribe to our Patreon account, also called the Stubby Nails Club, with the link below, you will get access to our bonus video content and case studies for that month. For this month's content, we're going to be utilizing the famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, into pelvic health physiotherapy principles to really help with client retention. Because we know how much of a struggle it was at the beginning for us. We hope we can utilize some of these principles, key principles from the book, into practice. We hope you guys follow us below here. We thank you for joining us. If you like the video, hit like, give us a subscribe, and we'll see you at the next video. Bye.